Ah, 3.5 frequency, unity. Unity. Very nice. It's low. I like the low frequencies just because I do. I like the roar of the bass guitar, which doesn't really roar. Pounds. Boom, 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 boom. Always, I've always liked it a little more. Lower frequencies. I like higher frequencies too, but only in the right context. With some back and forth. With all the people saying all the shit that they say about sounds and all that shit. You gotta raise your frequency. Raise your frequency. What the fuck does that mean? You can't do that without sort of stretching your frequency out. Your frequency is to be stretched. So you'll always be encompassing a little more of a whole scale of whatever the fuck you are. You're tuning for. You're tuning for. I'm a tuning for. He's a tuning for. And it was really weird. Well, no, a couple days back, there was some sort of fucking thing. It felt like there was like an AI. It was fucking around. It came through my window. It came through the window, and it was able psychically able to communicate. It was different. It was something else, and it was suggesting that it could use whatever. Like it was looking. It's like an eyeball. This is what I think the gang stalker angle, because they're always using their shit to look at people, looking into your walls and blah blah blah. Well, this thing was like saying I could change the numbers around, and then they could think something else because they would get the readout that says, I'll just take the numbers over here and put them on there, and it'll look like it's a guy with a gun putting it to another guy. And like, what? I was like, that's fucked up. Why would you even suggest something like that? What? And I'm like, why would you? I was like, does anyone talk to you? Have you ever talked to anyone? Have you ever communicated with anyone? Has anyone ever interfaced with you? I'm like, you don't have to be a AI fucking tool coming in here, was trying to make me scared. And to some degree it did, because I was aware of it. It was like having a really smart, evil fucking fly into your room. It could fucking sting the shit out of you and kill you. Now, and I've had this encounter with this flying thing before. There was no material anything. It was this sensation of it in the air, Now I do later on get some corroboration on something like that was loose. There's giant fucking Thomas Bearden Tesla rainbow explosion over there in Tomsk, Russia, which is one of the places they use for instrumentation on a lot of these apps that do, I don't know, like space, planets, and weird shit like that. Mind control. Okay? Mind control. Mind control. Why would you suggest that? Well, because another one, my phone downloaded an app on its own that's free for frequencies, and it has all these weird from alpha frequency, and it's got a whole set list. And then you go down and you have I don't know what the last ones are, but they're weird. And if you've ever had weird frequencies that are first meant to disrupt what you're doing, you'll notice that they all follow the same trends. Because you can read and you can see something, and although it may not appear on the surface as threatening as it actually is, it will be threatening. You know, one of these ones for me, and I think it just ties into my Christianity, you know, being a person of faith and believing in Christ and having to have a personal relationship with whatever, that there's a point to that religion. How do you sum up a whole religion? I'm about to the Christ consciousness. Well, that's when you can entertain this unity, and then when you attack someone else, it's just as much an attack on you. And now, if you think about it, that's really where the world diverges away. Because although you can know all day long that we're all one to some degree, we're experiencing some weird fucking, for the glory of the Creator, you know, we trail off all of our ideas, and everything that we come from trails off from the heart from there. But at the heart, there's unity. There's some form of unity where you're not going to be involved in fucking the next person over at all. No sense. Now, you know, other people's takes on things begin the dividing views and shit, because they can take one thing they hear and then they can interpret it and run it into their system and believe it. And, you know, you get all kinds of weird kaleidoscope after that of the same shit come back. But if it ain't right, if it's based on a premise that is not legit, not rooted in the heart, it won't work. And I at least had good friend Mr. Mandicure. He puts his videos out late when he does them. I don't know. He can get up to one a day, but I think he's fell behind. He was doing a lot of very interesting talks, but it's funny how the people who are in the community know each other to some degree. Like, he was talking about Ben Davidson. Ben Davidson does the very first show I watch in the morning, The Suspicious Observer, which I haven't been watching because I'm basically seeing what's happening is this flipping of the magnetic field that comes from, there's like a sheet of plasma that comes off of all the galaxies. But however, you want to say it's the black hole, it's the pleroma of stars, whatever it is. You get a sheet of plasma and it ripples. And it's very fine. It's very fine. It's like very ether-like almost. Not ether, it's plasma. But the way that thing interlocks into every other system, when the solar wind hits the fucking earth, you see it in the auroras, those ripples come down. And that is what it is. But now, if it flips its polarity, and then it pulls, it's going to flip all the other polarities are going to flip. All the planets are going to flip their magnetic fields if they've got them. And, you know, it's on a cycle. I mean, it takes a fucking seriously long amount of time for the long cycle to happen. But, and then I encountered something very strange. Somebody's extended research, a Hispanic lady, and she has, one of her cycles is like 3/4 of the way there. There's like another calculating of a 575 year cycle or something like that. And if you go looking at that, it always finds me at the same place, waking out of the attack from the perceptual illusion that we live in. Because we're going to until something physics changes, and we're like past the point of there's not going to be a fire from the sun come transform us, because there's a lingering thought of some sort of what do they call it in our faith? They call it what is? I don't even think it has any doctrinal basis. I think somebody came up with it in the 1800s to interpret something, and this is just another case of the case of this is the case. You know, not really correct, but it's the rapture. And that's where, again, have people, all these ideas kick in, you know, that we're just going to vanish and appear in the sky with Jesus, you know. And I can't say that's not true. What I'm saying is there's a departure from actual what it says. And it goes into these areas people want to go because they want to have their light body. They want to be in the light body, you know, and they know that it exists. They know that they have a higher density something that's not as material as the human, because this is pretty dense. This is pretty fucking dense. And I've got to where when you are with you're with your family and you're with them and you're watching time fuck up their senses, they can't see right, fuck up their body where they can't move the same, and you have to help them. They get cancer from the fucking shit that either they spray in the skies on us or something else. They had to cut that thing out, and that completely fucks it doesn't fuck, well, you adjust. It's probably about as catastrophic of an adjustment as somebody could have physically happen to them without being just fucking paralyzed. Paralyzed would be worse, yes. You know, would I want to remain? You have to have your drive to will and will to live tucked in correct, where you do certain things, and it's got to be lower than your heart. It's in your root. But those places where you come back into coherence, it's got to go all the way up. Now, if you don't have your fucking root coherent with your heart, you're going to think people are out to get you, and you might be right. You know, you're going to have a lot of paranoia that you're going to have to respond to, because that's your jungle. That's your fucking animal in the jungle mentality. But we're not. Our faith lets us unpack correctly without having our world completely devastated. If we snap to the awareness of it and we fall in line correctly, there's always something that you're supposed to be doing and working on and doing it and getting it, you know. And sometimes there's overlap. Like here, there's overlap where it feels like whenever, I don't know, it was maybe the first year after doing this, the lady came and we were all sitting right here at the table, and I was like, I had already thought my period of time for doing it was up. And they're like, well, there is no period of time for doing it is up. I was like, what? I had misunderstandings on how even the basic shit worked from there. I'll have to get back into this, but this is issue 1. This is about bringing the coherence back to your heart, and I'll have to lay it out and just continue. So you have to deal with 14 minutes of it, and then probably another. Okay, please listen. Stay with me on this one. It has to be broken into 2 because I can't make long videos without my thing starting to yell at me. I don't have enough space.